Salvete omnes, frate Wolframnus here. Oh, there are a lot of things to talk about, and sometimes it's hard to order them, and the pace of my life sometimes makes it difficult for me to take the time to put them together, but I think we have to say some things, and just as they're occurring. So, as Catholics, we have been told to watch for the signs of the times, watch the sky, all these sort of things, right? Well, it's very interesting to note that in the Washington, D.C. area, where I've been for a while now, broadly speaking, the 250th centenary of 1776, the Freemasonic revolution that sparked the French Revolution, that illegally ripped the colonies away from their legal sovereign, who themselves were excommunicated and therefore of questionable legitimacy anyway, took place. It was supposed to be a Guinness World Record amount of fireworks happening. Well, what happened, even though the prediction was 10% that there would be some rain coming, and there was just a few drops, right? A little bit of rain coming. Massive windstorm, thunderstorms with huge amounts of wind, up to 80 miles an hour, down where I was near Aquia, near Quantico Marine Base. Came through and pretty much put a damper on everything, and the fireworks were delayed, and they were pushed back quite late. They eventually did get off, but there was rain, low cloud cover, and so basically the portents, the signs of the times, the signs in the sky were quite not what one would call propitious for the United States, for the current regime, for the way things are going in this country and the world, of course, because right now, in terms of sheer power, it is the United States that is at the center of that still, and of the events that are happening. And we know that it's the usual suspects who control all of that, right? So that's something to note. Really should put that on your calendar. Should say there was a major portent, I would say a sign from God, saying that I am majorly displeased. And you can see in the distance, just continued large-scale thunderstorms continue to trail through even today. So the point is that it's all connected. I've shared Dane Wigginton's geoengineering watch site because of the heat dome across the United States, and of course it's all artificial, and Dane talks about that. Another interesting observation that Dane has made, where he's describing his region around Mount Shasta, a mountain that I climbed years and years ago, I think on my 33rd birthday, actually, without equipment, all the way up to the top through the snowfields, and glissaded down, not knowing where I was, and was led by some crows, well, actually ravens, back down eventually. So didn't bite it. I could have. Another one of the strange things I've done, where I've come close to leaving this vale of tears on an adventure. But anyway, the trees are all dying up there, right? Well, years ago, back in, it was around 2013, heading into the first half of 2014, I was here for a while on duty, and in the area, and I would go up to the Appalachian Trail, so up in up by Front Royal, and I'd hike it, and I had noticed that all the trees were dead, right? And the Germans called this a Waldsterben, wall death, forest death. And it was really evident. But what was noteworthy is that people would be hiking through, and I mean, it was really noticeable. It's just dead trees. It looked post-apocalyptic, right? Dead trees everywhere, trees falling over. And I would ask people when I saw another group of hikers, hey, do you notice this? You think this is strange at all, that all the trees are, like dying, and it looks like some sort of bad B post-apocalyptic movie going on here? Some dystopian novel being written around us? And they would all go, oh, well, no, I don't know, never really noticed. I mean, it's like people who go day to day with the chemtrails, just literally in the sky, crisscrossing the sky from coast to coast, across the Atlantic, all the way over through Europe, etc. Nobody looks up, nobody notices, they accept the lies. They continue on with their, godless lives by and large, and don't notice much of anything real around them, right? Well, now that forest death, der Waldsterben, ja, ist es jetzt, man kann das hier merken on the Küsten, ja, man can see that on the coast now. So up and down the Chesapeake Bay, where I often go for long nature walks with my my little Cocker Spaniel, English Cocker Spaniel. I've noticed when I got here that the forests look really, really, really unhealthy. And every time there's just a little bit of wind, I mean, as originally a Midwesterner from Minnesota, I mean, they're just the storms and winds that go through are just normal thunderstorms and winds, really, right? I mean, here they don't really get, the tornadoes like we got back there. And so for every time there's a storm of any sort, for all these trees coming down, it was just notable. One time I actually was in a nature preserve, and when I came out trying to leave the long dirt road that went through the reserve to the parking area that was closer to the water, coming out, a tree had come down, so I had to call the police, call 911, and they brought the police guy. They came out with the firemen, and they had to chop the tree up, and so that I could get out and others could get in and out and all that sort of stuff, right? But again, nobody really noticed. And so today, after the storm, I went early in the morning, took my dog to the same area. And trees, I mean, huge trees down everywhere, right? But they're all these unhealthy trees, right? They look big and strong. Some of them to me, though, don't. It's obviously, to me, there's a problem. And there was a guy that I've noticed that comes there early all the time. I think he's a bird watcher. He's a bunch of kind of older guys kind of manage it, really, right? I don't know if they get a salary, or I think it's more like a club of some sort, right? And so they watch over the preserve, and he was taking some pictures to send to people to show them what they would have to deal with to clear the trails. I just hopped over the trees and kept on going because it's part of my Sunday morning ritual to go for an early walk, because mass is until 1 o'clock, because of course we're by the local ordinary relegates the traditional mass to a late time to make it as inconvenient as possible for the true faithful, the remnant faithful. So the problem has extended so it's now 12 years, right? Since 12 years, 13 years or so since that time that I was here for any length of time before. And it has extended down. Now, what's spiritually related to this? Well, the Holy Land during the time of Jesus was lush. It's not, we are used to watching these, movies like Ben-Hur and movies about Jesus and others, and they depict the Holy Land the Levant, as this dry, desiccated place, kind of semi-desert or mostly desert, etc., right? Well, that's not how it was. They still had hot weather and all that sort of stuff because of the location and all that, and they did have some desert-like places. But the land of milk and honey was truly a land of milk and honey. It was lush, but because of um, the successive rebellion of the Hebrew peoples, of the people of Israel, over and over again, and then finally with the deicide, the land became cursed, right? The designation by God to make it like a garden-like place where it was fruitful all over the place. If you read the work of Maria Valtorta, the Gospels as revealed to me, which I can't recommend highly enough, both recommended by Father Kevin Robinson of the SSPX, Bishop Williamson, Father Berrio, I think was his name, who was the one of the founding teachers at Icone, and the Archbishop himself, all who approved these works, and Pope Pius XII, who said not only gave an imprimatur, a verbal imprimatur, but actually said he gave an exprimatur. He said these must be printed and sent out as is. Anyway, in there you also get you get an even more strong picture of the lushness of the Holy Land, right? The fields and the vineyards and the mountains and the greenery and the rain and the hot, but still a very, very lush land, very fruitful, agriculturally we would say today, right? Very, very fruitful. Well, it's not now. It's a desert, right? It's been a desert since that time because it came under curse. Well, something very similar is happening here in America, at the seat of the empire, and particularly, here on the East Coast, particularly around this Freemasonic bastion of evil known as Washington, D.C. and the Beltway and the environs around it. It's obvious for people who want to open their eyes, but people just don't, right? They don't open their eyes. They don't think logically. They don't think critically. It's because they're occluded, because no matter what they may say they believe in, they live their lives as if there were no God. They're practical atheists, most people. And now we know, of course, that the legions of Satan's demons have been loosed. We know that from Leo the 13th's, vision, that they've been given more permission by God to act within the world. So we can see these things happening, and as Catholics we have to take note. Anyway, I have to stop now. This may not upload. We'll see what happens. Avete, and bless you all.